Suriname Experience.
Goedemorgen, goedemorgen. Good afternoon. Goedemorgen, de Suriname. Before I start, I want to ask every Rotaractor in the room to stand up, even the people in the booth. Yes? And I want a round of applause for these people because they're working their whole day off just to give you a beautiful conference. Can I have a round of applause? Thank you mucho. Okay, great. And I want to start by thanking you all the Rotarians. I want to thank you for all the work that you have done as a volunteer in advance. And I want to thank you in advance for all the work that you will do in the near future. I'm very excited to be here, especially because I'm convinced that the biggest changes in the world will be the results of voluntary work. I've been a volunteer for over 30 years now. I was talking to Shelby just then, and okay, no, I won't say nothing about your age. I was talking to Shelby, and she asked me 35 years. I said, yes, older than you. So I've been volunteering for 30 years now, and I can tell you that service to humanity is the best work of life. As a volunteer, we want people to perform with excellence. We want them to deliver a great job. We want them to be on time every time. But we don't pay them. We cannot threaten them with a paycheck, and we cannot fire them even if they do a bad job, right? Still, we have to lead them so we can serve humanity. That's what volunteers do. They serve humanity, they serve communities, they serve countries. And because we are volunteers, we always want to deliver a great job. I don't know if you know that. We always want to deliver a great job as volunteers. Today's session contains two important words, namely leadership and volunteer. And I want to start with leadership. John Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Can we show it to them? Yes? Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Before I go further, I want to ask you to find a piece of paper, make some notes, put your questions, because after this we have a question moment, and then I can get into the questions, okay? Good. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I like this definition of John Maxwell on leadership because we all are leaders as volunteers. And if you're leading volunteers, the influence you have on them is very important. Good? Influence is the magic word in voluntary work. Not authority, not power. Good? But before we want to lead others well, you have to lead yourself, okay? You have to know how to lead yourself. Self-leadership. And what is self-leadership? I'm going to ask the IT booth to put it for me on screen in 1 second. But self-leadership describes how you lead your own life, setting your course, following it, and correcting as you go. Life and business, and even voluntary work, I think, are often intertwined. So it also reflects how you work with clients, colleagues, fellows, and the leadership in your organization. Yes? One more time. Self-leadership describes how you lead your own life, setting your course and following it, and correcting as you go. You can read it with me now, okay? And life and business and even voluntary work are often intertwined, so it also reflects on how you work with clients, colleagues, fellows, and the leadership in your organization. Furthermore, self-leadership allows a leader to influence others to take action so that the goals of the organization are met. When was the last time that you asked a member or a fellow member, a fellow commission member, a fellow board member, what you could change in terms of leadership? When was the last time that you asked for feedback? When was the last time that you took a leadership assessment? The test, just for fun, just to know how you operate as a leader. Because Leadership is influence. So each and every one of you makes an impact on the members. You have to be aware of that. The experiences you give the people, that will decide how they act in your organization. Okay? Later, I will go into more detail about this, about the experiences and the action and the results you get. Okay? Good. I have a few questions that I want you to look at, a few of them. What kind of team member are you? Because you have to know yourself. You want to lead others, you have to know how you're leading, how you want to be led. So what kind of team member are you? Are you aware of your leadership style? And what fuels you? What motivates you to stand up and give up your free time to serve? And how are you operating in a team? What's a big no-no for you in a commission? Something you don't like, something you would go crazy if they do that to you within the commission or in the organization. What do you like as a volunteer? These are a few of the questions I want you to look into when you think of leadership, because self-leadership is important. As I said earlier, leadership is influence. And if you want to influence others, you want to lead others, you have to start leading yourself. So you have to take an assessment of yourself to know how you are as a leader and how they perceive you as a leader. And one great question to ask is, what feedback do you have for me? What feedback do you have for me? Some leaders use the word feed forward. That's their philosophy. Feed forward, because when you get feedback, you can work on it so you can apply it to life, apply it to yourself so you can develop, right? I don't care if you only use fast forward, feed forward, or feedback. I don't care. I want you to ask for feedback in your organization so you can grow, you can develop and become better, so you can serve the community through the organization. I want to finish this leadership part with the following. Leaders care. Leaders care. And CARE is an acronym. The C stands for communicate, attitude, real, and emotional intelligence. So good leaders communicate well, they have a positive attitude, they are real, and they are emotional intelligent. The C, communication. Communication, as a good leader, you have to be a great communicator, because communication enables you to share what you want them to know so they can follow you. And communication is more than talking. Because when we hear communication, we think we have to talk a lot, because especially if we are in a leadership role, the chair, the president, the director, we want to talk a lot. But tomorrow morning, if you're going to brush your teeth, if you're going to do that, I hope you do so. When you look in the mirror, take a good look. You will see that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And there's a reason why God made us that way. And the reason is you have to listen more and talk less as a leader. Good communication skills helps to develop better understanding within the group and helps to inspire the group to follow. Leaders with a positive attitude, the A of care, with a positive attitude, increase the flow of positive emotions within the organization. And the R, leaders care, the R, real leaders, true leaders, act with integrity and genuinely value their people. Genuinely, they value their people. And in doing so, they create a lot of trust and loyalty. And they are emotional intelligent. And what that means, what I mean by emotional intelligent, it means that they have the ability to control, to understand, to manage their own emotion, as well as recognize and influence the emotion of those around them. Leaders care. Today we're talking about leading volunteers. So I want to go to a definition. I searched the internet and I found like 1,000 definitions for volunteers, but I chose a simple one. And the IT booth is going to help me to get it on screen. And the simple one is, I love this one. Volunteering is time willingly given for the common good and without financial gain. Volunteering is time willingly given for the common good without financial gain. I've been volunteering now for 30 years, and I've been in charge of voluntary teams for over 15 years. And even I had to learn some hard lessons over how to lead volunteers. Let me share a story with you. I was the chairman of the speaking competition of GCI Nilom. I was the chairman of the speaking competition. That's a flagship project we're doing in Suriname. So I was the chairman, and I was very excited. So I wanted to decide which stage we're going to use, which team we're going to use, which color, which subject. And with that, I took all the opportunities of my team. So nobody told me. One day before the execution, this is the general rehearsal, 70% of my team, of my committee, did not show up. They didn't come. And it was horrible. I was standing there like, okay. And I've asked the rest of the team, where are the guys? Where are they? And they told me, I think they think that you should do it alone, do it how you would like to do it, do what you want, because that's what you've been doing all these 3 weeks. It was a horrible moment. It was one of the moments where I recognized that I need to change the way I'm leading. And I've learned it the hard way, and I want to spare you that when you're leading volunteers, be aware that you're not paying them, and that the influence you have on them is very important. When we talk about volunteers, we talk about attract and retain. Yes, attract members and keep members. Volunteering, attract and retain. And every organization is searching for volunteers. It's a competition. You have the Lodge, you have the Rotaract, you have the JCs, you have neighborhood organizations. Everybody is looking for volunteers. So that's a competition. Volunteers need it. And the challenge we have is that organizations face the challenge that they cannot attract the right people, to retain people. And I dare to say that it also depends on attracting the right people. How do you retain the people? One more time. One of the challenges organizations face today is retaining people. And I dare to say that it also depends on attracting the right people. So you have to know who are the right people for your organization. What is the profile? What's their vision? Is their vision consistent with that of the organization? Do they have a good record? When you were born, God gave you a family. Some say you choose for it. But I think God gave you a family. You have a family. You cannot change that. If you love your sister, your brother, your aunt, your mother, your father, if you don't love them, you will die being a family member of them. In this organization, you got a chance to choose who you want to be part of the family. So it's important to create a profile of the potential members. Create a profile. And every member should know what the profile is, because you need to validate. You don't want everybody to be part of your organization. And why should all the members know what the profile is? Because when you ask them to retain people actively, to ask people to join, they have to know what they have to look for. Make an assessment. And I have a few questions. Sorry for that. You could ask to learn more about your potential members. I'm going to share a few questions with you, and you should see how you can fill it up with more questions. 1, do the people have a special connection with your organization? Do they have a special connection with your vision? 2, do they have a special expertise your organization could use? That's why it's important to look with your members, with your board member, especially your board members. What do we search for? Who we want to be, right? And are they seeking to develop a certain skill by working with your organization? Because you have to add value to them also when they're joining your organization. Otherwise, they will leave. And one of the important questions also is, are they willing to dedicate their time consistently. 5, what type of experience are they looking for while working for this non-profit organization? What type of experience? You have to know what they're looking for. What can organizations do to recruit volunteers? What can they do? 1, make sure to have a detailed description of what volunteers can expect so you can manage that. Ask for referrals through network. Have members spread the word actively. And that's why it's important that you have a profile of all your members, your prospect members, so they know where to search, where to reach, where to look for, where to attract the right people. Have observer events and request for feedback to strengthen your volunteer recruitment. Ask for feedback. One thing that helped me, I'm now a member of GCI for 2003, 15 year plus. I've been a member of GCI. I am a member of GCI Suriname, 15 year plus. I started in 2003. And why did I start? Why did I choose for GCI? Because you had the Lions, you had the Rotaract, you had the Kiwanis, you had a lot of service clubs, and I was in the Boy Scout. I love voluntary work, and I had to choose one. I chose GCI because one day I was sitting and looking at the presentation, and I saw young guys speaking, and I'm a fast speaker. I'm a very fast speaker. And for now, I'm speaking 80% more, less, how do you say that, Lorenzo? Sneller, much fast, 80% less faster than I do in a chat with my friends. I breathe so I can talk slowly to you. And I saw these guys presenting on television. It was a speech contest. They were giving an interview. So I went to a training. They were top trainers, GCI alum. So I need to be a GCI member. They were successful. I love them. And that was important for me. So invest in your members, guys. Invest in your members so they can act as an example of success in the community. That's how you attract people also. So when you invest in your members, it's good for them. So they will come, they will stay, they will grow, they will develop, so they can become better. But also it's a piece of marketing to get the right people in your organization. When you have the people, my mother told me something, what you have, you must keep. You already have them in your organization. What you have, you must keep. Because what's coming, it's okay, it's a present. But what you have to nurture, you have to nurture them. That's how you say it? Nurture. Like hug and okay, good, great. And I saw this because we need to retain volunteers. We need to retain them. They're already there. How do you keep volunteers who just came in? The first time I went to the GCI meeting, someone was waiting for me at the door. Hey, Marvin, welcome. I was like, you know my name? Yes, welcome. They give me a seat. This is Ricky. If you have any question, you can ask Ricky. Would you like to drink something? After the meeting, we're going to have a chat with the friends. Would you like to come? I was like, nobody's searching for me at home, and they're asking me to go to a drink here in the organization. My first time. Good first impression. So when young members come to your organization, give them a good feeling. Make sure they are properly introduced. Do that. And ask older members to introduce themselves to them. Don't let them stand there waiting and don't know what to talk about and with who. Ask your old members. If you have a new member, hey, Maritza's coming, Shelby is coming, is a new member. Please go and talk to her. Ask questions so you can get to know them better. As leaders, we listen more than we talk. We listen and we also hear what they don't say. So we can help them and we can lead them. And ask for feedback before they leave the meeting or the event. Ask them for feedback. What feedback do you have for us so we can change? What would make you come back to us to join the organization or to stay? Tell them about the benefits you have. Don't tell them about the roles you had in the organization, bragging a lot about yourself. You're important, but not at that moment. Right? Tell them about the benefits of the organization. What did the organization did for you, or for Candy, or for Melissa? Tell them. And then we have the older members. They have been part of the organization for quite a longer time. It's also applicable for the young members, is that develop an effective training program where they are able to reach their specific objectives for joining the organization. And it is not a one-size-fits-all. I see a lot of organizations doing that. When people come into your organization, let them make a career path. Who do you want to be? What do you want to develop? What training are you looking for? So you have some mandatory training. Everybody have to go through them. But according to their career path, you can cluster them, and you do leadership, you do management, you do finance, you do, so you can fit, you can feed them, you can serve them. People like to feel special, and they are. Volunteers are, because they're giving a lot of their time to the organization. Make their time the effort worth. Make their time the effort worth. Because people are giving up their free time. They could be with their family, they could be with friends, they could do something else, but they're there to help, to serve. So make it worth their time. Create a relationship between older members and younger members. Not only mentorship, but how do you say that? Informal? In an informal way. Because formal, this is your mentor, he will mentor you. If you have questions, you can ask him or her. That's formal. Relationships are built when people can talk to each other. When you introduce them. I know that Suraj loves soccer, and I know that Shelby loves to look at soccer. So I say, hey, Suraj is playing soccer. Shelby loves to look at soccer. Who's your favorite player? Hey, and then you bring them together, and they make friends because they want to have fun. It must be enjoyable for them. Let them have fun, 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 fun. Appreciation and recognition should be a culture of your organization. Should be. You're not paying the guys, you're not paying them. So what you should do is, when people do something like today, people are working. I was here yesterday and I saw people running, building, breaking, making, laughing, crying, stressing, only to give you guys a great conference. If you're having a great time in the conference, can I have a thumbs up? Let me see if it. Are they doing a great job? Okay, I see a few. Please give them some more thumbs. Recognition should be a culture in your organization. It's necessary to consider why people leave your organization. Some have run out of free time due to circumstances, say study, family planning, or other interests. But some, and maybe you also, you have experienced pain, and you've been thinking of, I'm gonna leave this organization. And people give people pain. They don't get pain from the logo. They get pain from the people. They don't get pain from the committee or the event they did. They get pain because somebody didn't respect them. Somebody was very impolite to them. Somebody didn't recognize them because they give up their time, and nobody said thanking them for that time. So I don't mean you, but members in your organization have pain. They have pain. So self-evaluation is necessary to see what pain did I give people? What have I done that people are now not willing to join anymore? So ask members, ask your fellow members, what can I do to be a better team player? Ask them, ask for feedback. What feedback do you have for me? Sorry, excuse me. Yes, and as I said, sometimes you are the pain, unconsciously. I want you to be aware of that. Ask people, what feedback do you have for me? That's the magic question. Don't ask them, do you have any feedback for me? This is important because you can use it also at work. Don't ask people, do you have feedback for me? No, we don't, and they are done with you. If you ask them, what feedback do you have for me? You are forcing them with love. You are forcing them to give you feedback. Constructive feedback, I don't like negative. There's constructive, negative feedback. Some say constructive feedback or positive feedback, which you can keep on doing, keep on developing. Yes. One of my previous tips was building a culture of appreciation and recognition. But before we do that, I want to, as the IT booth, if we can go to Mentimeter to have the first question. Can we do that? Yes? One of my previous tips was build a culture of appreciation and recognition. And maybe you ask yourself how to influence the culture in your organization. I want to share a model with you, the results pyramid. And this model, the power of this model lies in its simplicity. Yes? Let me go to the whiteboard. The results pyramid. Can you see the blue? Yes? Clear? I'm going to use the black, okay? On the bottom, we have experiences, and then we have beliefs, then we have action, and then we have results. Results. Yes? Like this? Yes? Okay. If you want to change the culture in your organization, even in your organization, even at work or in your family, this works. The experiences people have with you in your organization, at home, at work, gives them a certain belief about you, and they hold that belief. And according to that belief, they will act. They will take action according to that belief, and then you will get the results. So if you are a member that is always impolite, you don't respect people, they have the belief that they cannot talk to you. They cannot reach out to you. The action they take is they don't ask you nothing. They don't ask you nothing. And the result is that you're standing there and nobody's asking you to participate. And you can use this also. Let me give you a story. Let me tell you a story about my wife. She's not going to like it, but I'm going to share it with you. When I'm leaving the office at 7, she was calling me, honey, can you bring bread? Okay, I will. I love to do shopping, so I went to the supermarket. I buy everything and I forget the bread. And when I come home, she asks me, have you bought it? I'm like, I'll be right back. I then go back to the supermarket. I go and buy the bread. And that has happened 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Because I'm calling, I'm talking, I'm trying to pick up the family calls I didn't accept during the day. So I forgot the bread. or I forgot part of the shopping list. So what she did, what she kept on doing was she was calling me at, if I left the office at 6, she called me at 6. Honey, look at the list. Can you buy bread? For example, bread. Yes, I will buy bread. And then she called me at 6:15 while I'm in the car. Honey, don't forget the bread. I was starting to get irritated, right? Because you just told me to buy bread and you're telling me again. And 10 minutes after that, she called me again. Can you buy bread? I'm going to buy the bread. It's okay. And when I was so busy with myself, and I came home and I have to turn the car before going outside because I forgot the bread. So I went back to the shopping, to the supermarket, and I came home. The experience she has is that he will forget. She beholds that belief that he will forget. He will forget. And that's the belief. And because she believes that you will forget the bread, she acts on that. I'm going to call him because he will forget. She's telling her mother, he's always forgetting. That's a belief they have. And then she acts. And when you know that this is a thing that's happening in organization, in your relationship, at work, then you know what kind of experiences you want to give people to change the culture in your organization. Yes? So if you're always late, you're not on time, you're impolite, you're not delivering, people will hold a certain belief about you and they will take action according to that belief. And then you will get results. So if you want to change that, because it can also go the positive way. If Marvin is one of the persons, one of the members who is always motivating, helping, and is always contributing, the belief is that he can always help you to fill your committee and get people along to help. So they will ask you to join, ask you to support them every time they have a project or an event. Yes? The results we achieve are directly impacted by the actions we take. The results we achieve are directly impacted by the actions we take. The actions we take are influenced by the beliefs we hold, and the beliefs we hold are created by the experiences we share with others. Never forget that, because you can use this also in your relationship. So tonight you can see and inventarize. Make an inventory of the experiences you give your wife, your husband, your girlfriend. So you know what experiences you gave them, what belief they're holding, and why they are doing what they are doing right now. Then you can't get mad anymore, right? You have to see what experiences you gave them that they took action on that belief. If you have questions, I can go into the questions. Now you know this. Now you know. Now you know how to influence. Now you know how to influence the culture in your organization. And you are part of the organization. So you're part of the culture. So what experience do you want to give your fellows? How do you want people to experience you or the organization? Because that's how you can shape the culture of your organization. As volunteers, as volunteers, we are changing the world every day. So give love to receive love. Give trust to get trust, and give respect to get respect. Because I know that we, as volunteers, we will change the world. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think now we're going to the questions, Q&A. Okay.
Marvin, welcome back to the Q&A. And here we have Marvin Pollack, and he was talking about leadership. My name is Talita Siland, and I am from the Rotaract Club of Fresh. So, Marvin, that was an amazing presentation.
Okay, thank you.
I was also inspired by your presentation.
Thank you.
You guys are really keeping it on a roll here. So, the first question is, how can you encourage truthful feedback from members so that you can better provide for their needs and goals?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. As I said in the presentation, ask people, what feedback do you have for me? Because we always say, do you have feedback for me? And ask people to say, what feedback do you have for me? And when they give you the feedback, what do you say? Thank you. Right?
Just that simple.
Just that. You don't have to discuss with them. If it's good advice, with good feedback, you take it. If it's not good, you throw it away. You're not using it. But say thank you. What feedback do you have for me on the presentation? Not now, I'm saying what feedback do you have for me? And when you get the feedback, you should drink more water. You said, okay, thank you very much.
Wow, okay.
Because when you ask them, what feedback do you have for me? It opens up the floor that they dare to ask to give you feedback. Whether if you're a director, a member, the president, or a chair of the committee, what feedback do you have for me? And I think when you do that, you can ask people up front. If you're doing a presentation, for example, to ask them for, okay, Monique, can you give me feedback on my presentation? How do you think I did on leadership? And at the end of a committee, at the end of an event, in your evaluation meeting, then you can ask, okay, guys, let's do a feedback round. What feedback do you have for me? And you give everyone the opportunity. That's how you build a culture of giving feedback and receiving feedback. And just say thank you. Just say thank you. Even if they say something worse, you have to keep it straight with you. Thank you. Yes?
Yeah.
And that's going to build an environment of trust where people can give you feedback.
Yes. I like the way that you don't say negative feedback, but you say constructive feedback.
Yes.
And that has a positive vibe on it. Some people don't like constructive feedback, and it's only to build yourself and become a better person.
Absolutely.
And I love that word that you use for it.
Absolutely.
I will use it also.
Please do. In GCI Nilang, we are training people to give constructive feedback. You know, like one of the philosophies is the sandwich model: good feedback, negative feedback, then good feedback. I don't like that, because if someone gives you good feedback and they give you like a lot of negative feedback in the sandwich, the other part won't count, you know. So give constructive feedback. Think about, if I say this to my fellow member or my colleague at work, will it help? Will it add value to the person? If it won't, think about it. Make it constructive.
Thank you very much. The next question is, what are tips for examining your own leadership style and your development growth?
It's good to be aware of what you like and what you don't like. There are a lot of leadership test assessments online. Take some of them. And the best one is to ask people you're working with, colleagues, family members, committee members, board members. Ask them about your feedback. What can I change? What can I improve? And then you look at the assessment. If you have 3 or 4 assessment, you will see some similarity, right?
Yes.
And then you can ask them, what do you think of me as a leader? What can I change? What should I hold? And what can I change? And then you get the feedback and you can work on it. And then you make a plan. And if you make a plan, find a fellow, find a buddy who will help you to develop that leadership skill, because that's one of the needs people have when they when they join an organization. They want to grow as a leader. And if you can successfully grow within a voluntary organization, you will be an awesome corporate leader. Trust me on that one. If you can lead volunteers, you will be an awesome corporate leader, because people are getting paid in organizations. There you have to influence people. As a manager, you have power. You can say, okay, I'm going to pay you at the end of the month. I'm going to fire you. You cannot do that with volunteers.
Yeah.
Right? So you better develop your skills just there, so you can improve as a leader, also in business.
Thank you. Okay, so someone asks, in a virtual setting,
Mhm.
how do you keep everyone else motivated and still keep the Rotaract spirit in the organization?
Hmm.
Because with COVID, people are not really interested in Zoom meetings. They're
Yeah.
bored. They want something and they want to experience it in person, but it's a little hard behind the screen. So how do you still keep the spirit in the organization?
Okay, I want to say two things about this. I already spoke to the conference organizers, and I'm gonna contribute. I'm gonna sponsor you with managing the energy on the work floor in a virtual workplace. We have a training within in OTNF. I'm gonna sponsor you with that, so you can share it with all your members, right? And that's one. Two, you have the Mentimeter is a very good one. So we have a few questions in the Mentimeter. The Mentimeter is a very good way to keep them engaged. Ask people, let them participate. Because when they lie down, look at you when you're in a meeting. If they don't, how we say it, betrekken, if they don't
They don't involve. Yes.
involve. Thank you very much. If they don't involve you, if they don't involve you, if they don't involve you in the meeting, you will doze off, right?
Yes.
So you have to, Mentimeter is one. Ask them questions. Ask people to do short presentations. Ask people, give people an assignment in the meeting. Hey, can you evaluate the meeting? Can you do a presentation on? Ask them to do something. And you have to make a lot of arrangements. So no, one of the rules is cameras on. Cameras on. That helps a lot because people can see each other and have a chat after that. And if you have money of the organization, say if you stay in the meeting, you will get pizza at home, but you have to deliver it. It's not a joke. You really have to deliver it, right? Or you'll get a drink at home.
Yeah.
You can think of a lot of
Fun ways
to keep them engaged. It is a challenge. It is a challenge.
So now you have a very interesting question. Someone asked, how do you get constructive feedback from someone who is intimidated by you? If someone is jealous of you, how do you get constructive feedback?
Let me think about this one. Very good question. You're not doing everything with everyone. You're not doing everything with everyone. In the organization, you will have a lot of members who will become family. You will have members who will become neighbors. You will have members who will be on a high-buy atmosphere, relationship,
Yeah.
high-buy, and you will not work with them in commission. Because an organization, voluntary organization reflects the community. It's a reflection of the community. So we have all kind of people in the organization. See with who it fits. See with who it fits. You are responsible for your acting, for your handling, for the way you treat people. Stay right. You're the leader. You're the bigger one. If you know that people are jealous of you, I would really ask them for feedback because it's a chance for them to give it to me hard. And it's a time for me to grow bigger than I already are. So maybe I'm not the good person to ask this because I will come to you and I will ask you what feedback do you have for me? Even if I know you don't like me, what feedback do you have for me? And maybe you won't like me because I'm doing something to you unconsciously.
Yeah.
So that would be for an opportunity that we can make a better relationship. So if people are jealous of you or they're not constructive to you, go to them, ask them, hey, what feedback do you have for me? Or what can I change? And I will give them the opportunity to say what they like of you or what they don't like of you and say thank you.
That's a hard one. Sometimes it's really hard to just go to someone, oh, she doesn't like me, he doesn't like me, and you ask them for feedback.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, but it's some good advice.
But most of the time it's perception. I hear people say that a lot. I think they don't like me. Ask. You how do you say that in English? Assume. That assume.
Yeah.
Sometimes we assume that people don't like us. And with all respect, if you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. Assume as you me. You make an ass out of you and me. So don't assume. Go and ask, because sometimes people are so busy with themselves, or they're not even looking at you.
True.
And you assume that they don't like me. And if it happens 2 to 3 times, you have a belief. And according to that belief, you're going to take action. I won't talk to them. I won't attend to meeting where they are. I won't go in the committee where they are. And that starts to live. And over 10 years, when you talk to each other, they're like, no, I always admire you, girl. How could it be a fear? I want to come to you, but you never look at me. And then you have 10 years have lost. 10 years of your time, 10 years of your life. So don't assume, ask. You have Mentimeter also, right?
Yes, we have Mentimeter.
Can we switch
Since
to
you are
Mentimeter?
busy with it, we shall continue.
So I don't know if the IT booth can switch to Mentimeter so that people can answer the question. I'm still a Rotaract because oh yeah, it's coming. I love it here. 9 point. I love it. I have nothing else to do. We have 2 people saying I have nothing else to do. We should talk to them.
Definitely.
Sorry. 1.6. Okay, great. Most of the people say they love it here. So you guys are doing a great job. People are being loved because when people love it in an organization, they will attend. They will keep on coming.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. That's a good one. Great. Awesome. And I want to invite the others who have nothing else to do. Please talk to someone because we have a lot of work as volunteers. Can we go to the next question? What's the next one? The next question? The next question is, the moment you put on the rotary pin, you're not a volunteer anymore. The moment you put on that pin, you're not a volunteer anymore.
Oh, sorry. At the moment, we have some technical difficulties with Mentimeter. I hope you guys are still enjoying this. But since they have some technical difficulties, I guess we can
go to the next question. Yes.
continue our conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes. In the presentation, you said that how to keep your volunteers, how to keep your people in the organization, you need to make them feel welcome, you need to make them feel at home. And that's so true. I remember my first time here at Rotaract. It was last year in November, my first meeting with everyone. It was the anniversary, and I'm a shy person. So I walked up there and people were greeting me. They're like, hi, how are you? Come here, have a seat. And some people even knew my name. The ones who didn't know my name, they were asking me for my name. And I was thinking, why are these people interested in knowing about me? Because there's nothing special about me. That's what I was thinking.
What you was thinking, Dan, yes.
Yes, and they just made me feel at home. And from that moment on, I just knew I couldn't leave. By every other meeting, I always felt welcome. No one ever made me feel like, oh, why are you here? We have enough people, just get out. And I like that. I really like that. And you mentioned it, and I really felt it.
Yeah, that's the culture you want. You know, you want to give people all people have a sign on the front of their head. You can look at. Do you see it? You see it on the front of my head? I can see it on the front of your head.
Oh, okay.
I want attention. Everybody has that pin on the front of their head. People like attention. People like to feel special, and they are, because people are coming to your organization. They will give energy. They will give knowledge. They will give time to your organization. Make them important because they are. And if you build a culture of recognition by recognizing people for all small things, loudly for small things, loudly applaud them, give them a pin, give them a certificate, they will deliver the best work ever.
It's amazing. So I want to ask you, what advice do you have for me as an incoming director of club service? What advice do you have for me upon leadership? Because it's the first time and I'm so nervous. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I gonna what am I gonna do? How am I gonna communicate with everyone? How am I gonna keep everything going? So what advice do you have for me?
Okay, I think one of the first thing is we read about the role you're gonna have in
Yes.
the as a board member. That's one. Two, find a mentor. Find someone who was very good in that position and talk to the person. And find someone who they're saying he was very bad in it. Talk to him also, so she can give you the lessons they learn. Don't ever do that, girl. Or, you can get some
Yeah.
tips from her. And talk to the members. Talk to the members. Go to the members and say, hey, if you have any feedback on me, give me the feedback. What feedback do you have for me? So I'm open to learn. I'm open to grow. Because if you ask people for feedback, they will be open to receive your feedback also. Right? So get connected to people. People like connection. Connect to the people and be open and be you. People are searching for something unique.
Yeah.
Just be you. And ask them to help you do a great job. Ask them. So I'm asking feedback so I can do a great job. Ask them to help you. And people are willing to help if you ask them.
Thank you very much. I will
Good.
definitely apply that. Also, we have another question here. Someone asks, how do you encourage people who are intimidated by your dominant character to give you honest feedback, whether it's positive or constructive?
One more time.
How do you encourage people
Uh-huh.
to give you feedback, even though it's a constructive feedback or positive feedback? How do you encourage someone to do that?
Okay. I heard the word permanent.
Yes.
I think the first thing you have to do is what I said earlier. Look into your leadership. Look into your leadership. How do you lead people? How do you? What's your style? What's your style? What do you like? What do you don't like? And when you're aware of your dominancy, then you know how to handle people. We have a assessment we're selling at OTNV, DISC,
Yeah.
DISC, and the D is the dominant one. And because we did the assessment, some of my colleagues went to see what the pitfalls are of a dominant character. So they know when they say something in the meeting, they're like, okay, sorry guys, I know I came out a little bit hard. They are aware of it, because if people are aware, if you're aware of your dominancy, then you can work on it. And we serve as volunteers, we serve. When I was the local president in 2011, my team was we serve first, because they had 6 chapters, 6 clubs. And I told them, when we are at a conference or at an event, we serve first. We open doors to others. We ask them if they want to drink something. We are the one to give them feedback at first. We ask them, how can we help you in your event? And that made us grow, because we serve first. That was a team. We serve first, and people took it also to the workplace. Just serve first. Leaders serve first. Leaders care.
Yeah.
So you have to take care of yourself first before you can lead others. I hope I answered the question.
Yes,
Elizabeth.
I think you did. So thank you for all the answer to these questions. I hope everyone is pleased. It was an amazing presentation. I learned a lot. Thank you for the training you're talking about. I am super excited. I'm super excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys, and now we'll be going back to the studio.
The Suriname Experience.